Hello there. Welcome to Blitz Transmissions. This is the Blitzcast number 37. Before we get into the content of this week's episode, as always, make sure to check out the laundry list of links in the description below. If you are an ARC Trooper in the Patreon, you would have seen this podcast early. If you'd like access to early content, monthly giveaways, other awesome benefits, you can check out the link to the Patreon in the description below and become an ARC Trooper for just $4.99 a month. You can also subscribe if you're watching on YouTube to the YouTube channel, and if you'd like to check out all my action figure reviews early, because I've probably got like 40 of them at this point in the pipe that I still have to record, you can check out the Rancor Battalion YouTube channel membership. You get exclusive badges, priority replies in the comment section, you get reviews early, and you get to vote on what I review next for the YouTube channel. Link to that is in the description below as Jen adjusts her chair. In addition to that, guys, if you'd like some swag like we have on right now, I'm wearing the Blitz Transmissions crew neck in heather gray. Jen is wearing the Blitz Transmissions front and back logo hoodie in heather gray. You can check out all the merch on the Blitz Transmissions Armory. Printify is where we do all that stuff through. Link to that is in the description below, as well as links for my Discord server if you'd like to talk with a more intimate group of the Blitz Transmissions Blitz Brigade. You can also check out Instagram, my Blitz Bounties Instagram, X, TikTok. Is that it? Is that everything? Is that all?
I hope.
Jennifer, it has been 2 long weeks. We missed last week's Blitzcast episode. If you were paying any attention to most of my social media, you would have seen why we missed the episode. We thought about recording one before we left for ICCCon 2025, but by the time I think I finished uploading a review, it was like close to midnight.
It was Wednesday night.
Yeah, and we were leaving Thursday morning.
We were trying to pack and get our lives together.
Yeah.
It just would have been awful.
Would have been horrendous. And I already slept like 4 hours that night. Yeah. But, yeah, you know, we went to ICCCon. We have content all over the place. Still coming out as well, related to ICCCon. My favorite convention to go to every year. It's I describe it as the Star Wars family reunion for myself and my friends on YouTube. My found family. Jennifer got to go with me. We went as press. Again, I know I've said it 1,000 times across several different streams and videos, but thank you to ICCCon for giving us press for that event. Jennifer, how did you enjoy ICCCon? What'd you think?
It was very fun. It was great to meet all of your friends that you've been talking to on the interwebs for very long, and actually have faces and personalities to these, ideas of people that I've been hearing about for a really long time. So that was really nice. It was just a good time all around. It felt like sleepover vibes, and we were just able to chat, and thank God there was a couple of women there for me to talk to as well.
Yeah, it was great. We're definitely going to be going back next year. I really don't have much else to say on that. You'll have to check out the vlog, the other videos and shorts and posts that I've made across all the social media platforms. Again, a live stream will have been out by now of my haul from ICCCon with Commander Cook, Skywalker Hendricks, and 212th Hunter. It was a great time.
I will say it was pretty funny to learn everyone's real names.
Because
you only refer to them as their YouTube handles.
Their personas.
And so, like, I was trying to... I like to call people by their real names, and so that was my challenge over the weekend, was to not call everyone just like
their screen name,
Mr. Coffee. Like, I was trying to call him Alex.
I only call him Coffee. I don't know him as Alex.
But when I'm talking to his girlfriend,
right.
I'm not gonna say Mr. Coffee. So that was my challenge.
Yeah. So again, shout out to everyone we met at ICCCon. It was kind of surreal. I had a lot of people come up to me, recognizing me for this YouTube channel, which is crazy. I've only been around for like 9 going on 10 months now. Mm-hmm. So thank you to everyone for recognizing me as Blitz Transmissions, not as my previous employment. That'd have been cringe. That did happen at the last ICC con, because my channel had only been around for like a month.
Yeah. So
I got, recognized as...
someone else.
As slop, but, Anyways, it's been a long day. Ask Jen, I've had a very long day today, as of recording.
He's doing his best.
I'm doing my best. My Blitz best.
Surprisingly, no one came up to me and was like, oh my god, are you Jen?
Are you
Blitz?
Mrs. Blitz?
Are you Mrs. Blitz?
Hang on, you have an eyelash on your nose and it's driving me crazy right now.
Thank you.
Got it, we're good. There's another one, close your eye. Okay, now we got them both. We're good.
He takes care of me.
I do.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed.
Actually, it's sorry to interrupt you, but it is mostly Jen taking care of me, I would argue, than it is me taking care of you.
I appreciate the recognition. Thank you. But, yeah, kind of disappointed. No one was like, are you Mrs. Blitz?
You've been referred to since ICCCon as Mrs. Blitz, and it keeps throwing me off when I see people type that. I'm like... what? Oh, they're talking about Jen.
We do have. I met Mrs. Coffee.
Mrs. Coffee.
I met Mrs. Wilbon.
Mrs. Wilbon.
And I also met Ms. Tangy.
Tangy. Tangy.
Shout out to all the ladies, because they were my saving grace.
Shout out to my boy Austin, Tangy Fungus, because there's been an ongoing joke, like a behind-the-scenes joke. One time I did a live stream on my channel, I think it was a Blitz Bounties, and he joined in the chat, and I thought it was his birthday, but it was someone else's birthday, and so I said, happy birthday, Tangy. Everyone in the chat say happy birthday to Tangy. So ever since then, it's just been a running joke. Like, every time I see him in a chat, I tell him happy birthday. And we had the penultimate, version of that joke. We went to Chili's, with the whole crew. And, the night before the first day. And I had the waitress, I bought a scoop of ice cream, had the waitress come out with all the employees and sing happy birthday.
It was really funny.
He looks... It was so funny to me because he looks up and he sees all the people. He's like, oh, you can tell. It's like, whose birthday is it? And then he I'm already grinning ear to ear because it's too late. He's scanning the table. He locks eyes with me and he just goes, you.
It was really funny because you just heard distant clapping and then the Chili's employees just gathering around our table. But I saw the whole thing in slow motion of Tangy realizing that it was for him. Yeah.
It was awesome. We got tattoos while we were there. Mm-hmm. I can't show you mine because I'm wearing pants and not shorts.
And I'm not going to show mine because you would have to see my feet. And that's not...
That'd be good for content.
That's not for free.
Oh.
Bad joke, sorry.
Let's see. That's all I have to say on that. You need to watch the content.
Watch
and
the vlog.
You need to go to ICCCon 2026.
I think people are more excited for your dad to come back to ICCC than for
anything
me
else
to come back. So
this is
we'll
true.
see how that all pans out next year.
Right. Also, stay tuned. As of the release of this video, on this day, there's going to be a partner drop between Carbonites and Blitz Transmissions. If you've been paying attention to the Carbonites Instagram page, we've been collaborating on a lot of Instagram posts recently regarding a certain character coming to the Carbonites line. I wonder who it could be. So, if you'd like to get in on that, stay tuned. 10 a.m. Eastern Time. I do have links on all my social media to the Carbonites website. Mm-hmm. Thank you to Vincent, CEO of Carbonites, for partnering with me on that and doing something so special.
Slay.
I think that's all I have for housekeeping. Other than that, expect a lot of reviews. A lot of reviews coming. Jennifer.
Yes.
I was kind of thinking, what are we going to talk about? I'm calling you Jennifer a lot today.
Yeah, it's okay.
I've been thinking about what we were going to talk about on the pod today. Mm-hmm. What could we discuss? And then I was a little bit befuddled and then it came across my mind. Bing! We never talked about the Andor series finale.
How dare us?
The final 3 episodes of Andor, we didn't get to talk about because we watched them last week, and we went to ICC-Con instead of covering that on the Blitzcast.
And everyone's been, where's Jen and Tommy's takes on the end of Andor?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, where's your commentary on the season finale of Andor?
That's what they've been wanting to hear.
They've all been hitting us up. All of y'all.
Everyone.
Now that we've been to Tennessee, now I am Southern, so...
Dude, I don't even want to talk about it. I've never seen someone just become Southern so quickly in my life.
I just embraced the culture.
You really did. You would literally just be having a conversation with anybody, and then all of a sudden you'd be talking, and your R's would get real.
It's just I felt Tennessee just
in my soul,
embed into me.
ICC-Con, please save us, ICC-Con.
I felt a transfusion happen within my very bloodstream, and now I'm from Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay, let's talk Andor.
I'll stop.
So, Jennifer.
Yes.
Andor. We finished the series. How do we feel? General thoughts.
I will say, I love Andor. And if anyone says that it's boring, read a book. Learn how to embrace literature, complex storylines, critical thinking, interesting character arcs, because that's what we're looking at here. We're looking at a book.
Yeah.
And it might not be as flashy or as exciting as some other, mainstream media. However, it is some of the best writing I have ever witnessed.
Yeah.
And that's the truth.
Let me get a Southern accent slip counter on Jen this episode, because now that I reminded her brain of it, I feel like it's just going to keep happening now.
I'm done.
No, you're not. Okay. My thoughts are... Andor is a different caliber of Star Wars. Mm-hmm. Andor, I feel like, is not even comparable to other Star Wars, because Andor isn't trying to fit in with the rest of Star Wars. It's not trying to fit in with the rest of the media. It's only trying to tell its own story to an adult, more mature audience. And that's all that it cares about. It's not trying to be anything other than that. So I literally, the great comparison would be, I feel like comparing it would be like comparing a 6-inch action figure to a hot toy. Mm-hmm. They're not, yes, they're both action figures, but they're not the same scale. They're not the same level of detail. They're not the same budget that gets put into them. Mm-hmm. It is completely, there's two different worlds of Star Wars. Mm-hmm. It is for the adult audience, the fan that wants more complex issues, deeper writing, different styles of storytelling. Mm-hmm. And Andor delivers.
It's gritty. It's interesting. It had me at the edge of my seat. It had me close to tears. It was a beautiful story. And anyone who, was like, wrote it off last season.
A slop.
As like, oh, it was kind of boring. Revisit it, rewatch it.
Yeah.
Because Andor Season 1, 2, and Rogue One is the best trilogy of writing in Star Wars.
Damn! And she said that with her chest. Let's dive right in, because I think the first thing I want to jump on is Luthen's death. Luthen did not die in the way that I expected him to die. That was craziness. And we got a really awesome storyline between Luthen and Clea. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Elizabeth Delow. I know she just put on her social media yesterday or the day before. It's gone now. How to pronounce her last name.
Oh.
It's I think it's Delo. I think is how. This was her breakout role. I didn't know that until after the show. I think she posted something about it. This was her first gig out of acting school.
And she slays.
And,
I've been saying this since season 1.
And she was one of my favorite characters of the whole show.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they gave her so much depth in this last week. I mean, she really stole the show for me in this season.
Mm-hmm.
I liked her character, but she wasn't like top 3 for me.
She was very, like, season 1, she was very, like, she's just the assistant.
The woman behind the keyboard.
Yeah, the assistant to Luthen.
Or what do you call it? The woman in the chair?
Yeah.
That's what, yeah.
Yeah, but this season, she got way more depth, way more storyline, more screen time, period. But these last 3 episodes, her character bloomed.
Oh my goodness.
It was really... I loved the storyline. I think people probably have mixed feelings about that episode of just covering Luthen and Clea, but I think it was necessary for us to feel satisfied with both of their stories.
Yes. The 1 year time jumps from each trio of episodes really, I think, helped this season kind of quicken the pace a little bit, which I think is a lot. I saw the major complaint about season 1 was it's just too slow for some people, and that's all subjective, you know. I could see how especially that season was dropping 1 episode week to week. I could see how you could be watching and being like that. Nothing happened.
Yeah, I will say.
We didn't go anywhere.
I watched Andor after the fact, so I wasn't
all at once. Yeah,
I wasn't in that week to week mindset. So
we just jump right out the gate, man. Like Dedra showing up to ambush Luthen at the shop. Okay, well, I think we should get into. Lonnie, the ISB spy, dead.
Yeah,
Luthen kills him.
Killed him. Well, because he was, what's the word?
A variable.
No, when a spy is caught, there's a word for it.
Oh, he was. Oh, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Oh, whatever.
Yeah, but anyway, he knew that he had to go.
He was burned.
He burned, yes. And so he thought that he would just go with Luthen to
a hideaway.
And no, he's a loose string. Luthen
doesn't play with the loose threads.
But the reveal that he had Dedra's
code
cylinder for months is wild to me. Yeah. I kind of I want to revisit that a little bit because
it's crazy how complex it is.
Yeah.
Dedra was overstepping like she always does. I think in Cyril's death something kind of snapped in her where she kind of didn't care anymore about playing her role. She wanted to know what was going on Gorman that Cyril had to die?
Yeah.
And all this death and destruction had to happen for it. Why so much secrecy? So she starts getting access to stuff going on with Project Stardust, the Death Star. She is holding on to that information illegally. Lonnie gets a hold of it because he has her code cylinder. So it's kind of crazy that Dedra ends up being the one that causes the thing, the causes the secret of the Death Star to get out when she was the one all along that was trying to catch these guys.
I thought that was really interesting for her character. I was ready for a Dedra redemption.
Really?
I was kind of waiting for where this was going.
You thought Cyril's death might have turned her?
Yeah. Maybe not turned her towards the rebellion, but at least be not wanting to be in the ISB anymore.
Gotcha.
But this was honestly way more interesting.
Oh, all day.
She is the crux of, or like patient zero, I guess I should say, of how the rebellion knows about the Death Star. I think that was so, like, that's so tragic of her character, which makes it so interesting. Because she is the one from the start that's, like, playing by the rules, drinking the Kool-Aid with the Empire, and wanting to, like, destroy all the rebels.
Yeah.
Like, she has been totally ingrained. I mean, she's the one who also, I mean, she said that she grew up in a Imperial orphanage, you know, she was indoctrinated. She's Empire
through and through.
Yeah, so that was, I don't know, that was such a, it's probably some analogy to a Greek tragedy that I'm blanking on right now, but like, I thought that was such an interesting take. And then, I mean, I don't want to jump too far.
You're good, keep
but
going.
Like, just thinking of her ending up in the prison that
builds parts for the Death Star.
Builds parts for the Death Star that Cassia was in season 1. Like, it just, it was just so beautifully, tragically written.
Yeah.
For her storyline. It honestly was more satisfying than her getting a redemption arc.
I agree. I guess to kind of jump back, it's like Dedra causes this, and again, it's her overstepping, but she, I think, thought that getting Luthen, getting Axis was the way to remedy all of that. Like, so even if they found out that she had secret files for the Death Star, like classified information, it wouldn't matter because she caught the guy running the whole rebellion. Now, what was really great was the exchange right out the gate. Kleia is ready to sacrifice herself so that Luthen can live on. And Luthen gives up himself because he cares about Kleia. We see this. Luthen doesn't show it, but he does care about people.
Yeah.
He cared about Mon. He cared about Kleia. He like destroys their code machine. Dedra catches him in the act. I just wasn't expecting him to stab himself.
Yeah.
I did not see that coming. I thought maybe something would happen. I thought maybe he'd just get arrested, like, you know.
No, but it makes so much sense.
It does.
Like, yeah, he's the loose thread. Like, that's honestly why they showed Lonnie, right?
Lonnie is
at the beginning. You know, like, he's a loose thread. Now Luthen's a loose thread. He knows how to recognize that, even if it's himself.
And I think he is really the only one that's prepared to end himself. For the sake of the cause. A lot of our other characters are too. What's the word? The self-preservation is too high for a lot of our other characters. You know, a lot of people would have tried to punch their way out or something. Luthen kind of knew. You know, this is the only way to be done with this.
That's what he's been preaching this entire time of, we are trying to save a sunset that we'll never see. Yeah, we'll never see. Yeah, like, that's his whole deal. So I think it makes complete sense that he would...
Fighting for a sunrise we will never see.
Yeah, whatever the quote was.
What do I sacrifice? Everything!
Yeah, like, he probably has known that this is where he's going to end up from the very beginning. Yeah. Of, like, one day he's going to get caught, you know, no matter how careful he is, and he has to be willing to do that. He probably had to have that conversation with himself when he first, you know, defected.
So essentially, Luthen he stabs himself, and they're able to save him, the Empire. So they have him at the hospital. And then Kleia just gets this amazing one-woman mission, like, complete sabotage, distraction, bait and switch. Just it was like watching a spy thriller. You know, like, you get her backstory in that, and I think it was very powerful to see how. I always wondered how she and Luthen kind of came together, and that was really great to see. I thought it was done tastefully. I liked that we got snippets of them. We get to see why they have an antique shop of all things, because from the beginning they were great at bartering, great at, giving value to things and understanding artifacts and things like that. Knowing that Luthen was an Imperial.
Yeah.
That was huge for me. I never saw that coming.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I didn't expect that, but yeah, it was great. And I think it was so sad that she had to pull the plug on Luthen. But she knew this is what Luthen would want.
Yeah.
And this is what needs to happen. And that was she did such a great job. The acting was phenomenal. And again, just such an unexpected twist. I didn't expect her character to be the one that we mainly followed in these last few episodes here.
I thought it was really interesting. Her like, we're forgetting words all around here.
I know. It's because we have an exquisite, extensive vocabulary.
I have a perfect word for this.
I have a perfect word for this.
But she's like, she doesn't really want to go to Yavin, and she's really thrown off by the organization
of the rebellion. It's funny because they created the rebellion, but the rebellion hates them because their methods are they're willing to sacrifice people for the cause. That is, and the rebels are like your storybook good guys.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna save everyone, and
Yeah. Like, they're willing to get stuff done. That's why she was willing to help Luthen finish himself off, like, that's
her own father.
Her father
essentially
figure,
her father figure, her mentor.
She's willing to,
I thought she was gonna try and save him, like take him on some sort of breathing machine out of the hospital by creating the distraction.
Because she understands what
could happen if they get
needs
caught.
To be done.
Yeah.
And I think that's such an interesting dynamic that's happening between the organized rebel alliance and Luthen and Clea that I feel like we haven't really talked about, and it wasn't shown as specifically as it was in these last 3 episodes. It's so interesting. Like, they hate Luthen, and they don't believe anything that Cassian is saying in regards to Luthen because they don't trust him, but mostly because he did things not the way that they would have wanted to do.
I agree.
But also, the funny part, the ironic part, which is what they're trying to get at, is that they don't agree with Luthen, but Luthen gets shit done. Yeah,
meanwhile you have, and again, I thought that council were assholes in Rogue One. They were just as much, even Bail though. Yeah. Bail really shocked me with how much of an asshole he was being in this last few episodes here. Almost like uncharacteristic. But then again, it's like, the rebellion's all about self-preservation. They're not ready to fight.
And these are senators that don't want to be a senator in the Empire anymore, but that doesn't make them a warrior or a rebel. They are doing what they know best, which is arguing in a Senate, in a council,
taking no action rather than because that's the thing is the theme of the whole show is the Empire's coming for you. It doesn't matter if you're ready or not. It doesn't matter how prepared you are. You have to be ready to fight with whatever you have and whoever you have. Because if you're not ready, you're going to lose. And that's what happened on Gorman.
Yep.
They weren't ready for it, and they got ambushed. That was what happened. And we saw the fallout of that.
Yeah. Anyway, back to Clea. So.
Yeah, back to so she sends out the SOS on I love that whole sequence. Like, you could tell Luthen had it planned out from the start. Okay, we have a contingency plan for everything.
Yeah.
And then we get to jump over to Yavin. We see Cassian is with Melshi and K2 now. I thought that having K2, at first I was kind of disappointed he was only in these last 3 episodes, heavily, as the K2 we know in Rogue One. But after watching it, I feel like it was the perfect amount.
Yeah.
Like a tasteful amount of K2SO.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you would have gotten kind of stale with him if he was in the whole season.
And it's not what Andor's about. Like, Andor is way too gritty to have this, like...
Yeah.
Funny... I mean, like, K2 is the comic relief.
He's the comic relief, yeah. He's the sidekick.
It's great in the movie, but I think it would have been overpowering and almost, like, Marvel-y, like... comedy where there's no room for that in Andor.
No.
Besides how they did it.
Yeah, with how they're trying to tell the story in Andor, it doesn't fit the tone.
I mean, and what K2 did, like, honestly made him more, like, scary than...
Bro.
Like, he was funny, but he was, like, scary funny. Like, I don't...
K2SO... we'll get into that, I guess, but... There's a huge issue with the rebellion of Cassian disobeys orders and goes with Melshi and K2 to go to Coruscant and save Kleia. At the time, they think it's Luthen sending out the SOS. And it was interesting to see that Will had a secret machine that was able to contact Luthen. Yeah. That was very interesting.
But Will was the one who was still doing missions with Luthen when Cassian was, like, trying to distance himself.
Yeah. It was very fascinating. And Will is definitely the most radicalized out of everybody.
Because of his time with...
Saw Gerrera.
Saw.
Breathe it in! The Rido!
Bruh.
Breathe it in!
Best scene in Rogue One, when Saw dies.
Best scene in Rogue One. Save the rebellion! Save the dream. And he dies. The mission on Coruscant was so awesome. I really, again, this show did such a great job of making me feel tension. I wanted Kleia to live, and I kept thinking she's either gonna off herself or she's gonna like something's gonna happen. And they really made me think several times throughout the firefight in the apartment building she was a goner.
I also really appreciated that they showed Kleia losing her sense of decorum, like with Luthen dying, that was
a piece of her.
Yeah, and so she, even through her whole mission to, essentially kill Luthen or take him off life support, she was very, like, mission oriented. Once that was over, she was, like, breaking down and running herself ragged. She knew what to do, but you could see the difference in her decorum. This is
the same woman who, like, in universe 2 years prior, was actively taking a listening device out of an antique while she was in the room with Director Orson Krennic, one of the highest ranking Imperial officers in the entire Empire, with him, like, 10 feet away. This is, to see that this is her breakdown really shows how much Luthen grounded her. And it was that whole sequence of Cassian and Melshi going in at the same time as the Empire, because then you have Supervisor Hitt, who is who used to be Dedra's assistant, now is his own supervisor, has his own assistant. He's mad at Dedra because she's stepping on his toes.
Yep.
He's supposed to be in charge of hunting Axis, which is Luthen's code name. And she's just doing all her... she's just taking... But it's interesting at the same time, he still goes to Dedra for advice. Because,
which led her down her path of looking for more, right?
Yeah, well, no, she's already in jail at that point.
Well, no, I mean, like, before, like, the fact that he kept talking to Dedra,
pushing, yeah.
Like, that was what was keeping it alive in her head a bit, too,
Yeah.
She was getting information from him.
And I think Cassian, I think Cyril dying was, like, for her, she didn't care anymore to keep it together, like we saw at the end of that. The Gorman episodes where she's, like, having a breakdown. Like, she's trying to keep it together and she can't. I think you could tell something snapped. Like, when she was talking to Luthen in the shop and she's like, I got you. I find, like I was like, yeah, this is a different character now. Something has changed in this woman since we saw her on Gorman.
Honestly, like, that's bringing up, with each death or, like, losing someone in Andor, it shows you how that person deals with that loss.
The grief, yeah.
So, like, this is how Dedra deals with the loss of Cyril. You see how Clea deals with the loss of Luthen, how Cassian deals with the loss of Bix, even though she didn't die, that's kind of an interesting thing, a way of looking at your main characters, especially. Mon, she loses
her assistant,
everyone.
Who she trusted. Yeah, literally everyone.
Like, how she deals with the loss of trust in her family circle and her assistant, and goes off of that. Like, that's how we can kind of look at these main characters, and I think I'm just now kind of clicking that together as we're talking about it.
Yeah. I was trying to think. I totally had a train of thought where I was going.
You were talking about Dedra kind of breaking down and...
Right, so Supervisor Hit is working with, the rest of the ISB. They're sending out a task force. They don't know they know that an SOS is being sent out, but they don't know that the rebellion's showing up at the same time.
Yeah.
And just like Cassian and Melshi don't know that this ISB task force is showing up, watching them clear the buildings, I will say that was cool, not story related. Very, very good building and room clearing tactics by those actors. I don't know if they had any training in that kind of stuff, but as someone who has performed building and room clearing before, I was very impressed with how the group of the ISB officers systematically cleared the hallways and the rooms. It was great, and really I felt like it was very realistic in a good way. Like, it didn't feel like just stormtroopers bumbling down the hallway, I think one of the greatest things of this whole episode was K2SO
saving the day,
absolutely ravaging the entire ISB
oh my god
task force. Specifically the part where he totally killed Supervisor Hit, choked him out or broke his neck or something, and he's holding him out in front of him as a human shield, and there's just the other officers are just laying into
oh my god
Supervisor Hit's body and watching his broken neck flop around. And the craziest part about that was K2 is basically bulletproof.
Yeah.
He can take a hit from most blasters and be fine. And to see that that was just him choosing to do that, it was pretty awesome. The rebellion really is interesting to me. It's very interesting to see in this show the rebellion being depicted almost becoming the Empire. You have people that are doing the right thing, and you're punishing them for doing the right thing because you don't like these other people, like Luthen and Clea. And it takes people like Vel, like Mon, like Cassian to really bring out the best in the rebellion. If it weren't for these people that will speak up and will just do what they believe is right at their core, the rebellion would have never succeeded. Admiral Raddus in Rogue One does the same thing. He leaves to go help them when he finds out they went to Scarif. It is a group of people that have such a deep understanding of what the right thing is. Yep. It really takes leadership to be able to go that extra mile and make that decision, even if it sometimes is disobeying direct orders.
Yep.
And I really liked, again, how, like you said, they're all senators. They're politicians.
Yeah.
They care about hiding and staying alive rather than saving the galaxy. And
they piss me off.
They've been through no hardship.
Yeah.
They've been through nothing. So obviously, when they get back, they're held at gunpoint. They have to get Clea to the med bay, and I think there was a very powerful moment where Clea kind of gets up from the med bay and she's kind of trudging through the jungle. My opinion, I think she was just going to either run away or end herself, or before Vel finds her. I think she feels alone, and she needed a moment with someone who she knows, feeling just the basic sense of caring. from another
think
person.
she felt the animosity. I think she knew that, like,
Yeah.
she's not welcome here, really.
Yeah.
Even, and then seeing Vel is like, no, people want you here. People believe in your cause, too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that was part of it, of, like,
Yeah.
this is almost enemy territory to her.
Yeah.
Even though, you're both fighting the same evil, but, you know, they hate her. They hate what Luthen, her father figure, stood for. And so, I think she was feeling the, like, I need to get out of here, and where else should I go than probably die, you know?
It's interesting, too, because, yes, a lot of people died because of Luthen. Let's look at our Aldani crew, like, specifically Nemec is a big one.
Yeah.
Let's look at Cinta. Let's look at all these characters who have died. Yes, Luthen sent them on these missions. Luthen put them through all these risks. But they knew.
Yeah, that's why they signed up
They
for it.
were fighting for the rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
They were fighting for something larger than themselves. They knew when they signed up what the risks were. And so, remembering them and fighting for the lost people is more powerful than the infighting.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, everyone's trying to get to the same end goal.
Yep.
And when you have an oppressive fascist empire ruling the entire galaxy with an iron fist, there's only so much you can do. It's certainly not deliberating in a room on Yavin 4.
Gosh. This is, like, that's one of my biggest pet peeves, not just in politics, but just, like, in any situation of, let's have another meeting about this and talk about it for an hour. Like,
let's keep deliberating over
and then
nothing.
This is life or death. Like, we need to make quick decisions. And that's always the criticism of the rebellion, I think, and even in the original trilogies of, like, let's talk about it. Like, you know, we need to all talk about it first.
Yeah.
And I need to honestly, what Andor does for me is I want to watch Rogue One right afterwards, and then I want to watch A New Hope right after that, and then probably just watch the rest of the trilogy. Like, it makes me want to just rewatch all of the, the Empire story, the Rebellion story, over and over and over again.
It's great.
It's just a constant cycle.
I'm trying to think if I have anything else that I really want to add. Vel has a great exchange with Clea. She has a great one with Cassian. Mon Mothma has some great exchanges in there.
Yeah.
The end montage, though. Crazy. Seeing the fate of so many characters, starting with Portagast, the head of the ISB.
Yeah.
He failed because they got Clea out, and he's listening to Nemec's manifesto.
Yeah.
He's kind of come to terms with, I'm about to be punished, probably executed, for something that can't be stopped anyway. I think in that moment he really saw the rebellion's going to win, regardless of how hard we try to crush them or squash them. It just keeps spreading. And he chooses to end himself. I really liked how that scene was executed.
Yeah.
Got the point across very, very nicely. And I really, for Portagast to do that, clearly he fears the Emperor more than he fears, failure. So, it was great. Perrin, Mon's husband, ex-husband now, I guess.
Craziness.
That was wild.
Hooking up with the in-laws.
Hooking up with his in-laws. Literally his in-laws.
Yeah, his daughter's
husband's mom.
Yeah, his daughter's mother-in-law.
Hammered in the back of a speeder.
The drama.
That was craziness.
And I think that's a perfect way to show how all of this is happening. Even your wife is joining this rebellion, and you are still living your lavish, little bubble. of delusion and belief that well, I'm not part of that, so let me just hook up with
welcome to the good life.
My daughter's mom-in-law.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, that Dedra goes to, like we talked about earlier, the Narkina prison.
Wild.
And she waits till the lights are off to
break down.
Ugh. Yeah, that's where she stays, I think. I don't think she ever, even when the New Republic takes over, I don't think she ever gets out.
No, she's a small fish. In the show, she seems like this big, important person, but really, in the scheme of things, she's a small fish.
Yeah.
Send her, I'm shocked they didn't just kill her, but that's too much effort.
Right. The Krennic interrogation scene with Dedra, by the way, was pretty awesome.
Loved it.
I loved seeing Krennic, just total derail from where I was going, but Krennic getting to kind of big boy people in this show.
Yeah.
As opposed to in Rogue One, he's always fighting with someone larger than him or higher ranking, like Tarkin or Vader.
Yeah.
He's kind of getting pushed around the whole movie, whereas in this show, you see it.
Yeah.
You see he big boys people.
But you can see why he would do that. Like with Rogue One, he's this big bully who's putting his finger down on Dedra and, talking all his shit with all of the ISB people, and you can see why, because he was their superior. Yeah. Meanwhile, these people that are way higher up than him and have powers and have the Force and they're choking people out. He's their small fish. So true. It's just how it goes.
As Qui-Gon Jinn says in The Phantom Menace. There's always a bigger fish.
Yeah, the bullied will bully. That's how it goes. So I thought that was an interesting dynamic that I'm glad that they really, struck home with. And of course, Krennic is one of Tony Gilroy's original characters. So, of course he would be able to... And he slays.
Expertly...
His cape slays every single time.
And Ben Mendelsohn, of course. You could tell he was loving every moment of his return to that character.
Like, he didn't need that cape, but he decided to put that cape on.
It's a sleigh.
He decided to put that cape on.
Yeah.
He wanted to be like Vader. He said, I want a cape too.
So... Yeah, I guess to wrap up the whole montage, we saw Kleya kind of having her coming to terms with being happy and seeing the hope in the galaxy rather than seeing all the despair and all the negative.
Yep.
Vel and Mon get to sit together at the lunch table. We get that finally they get to see each other again and just interact with each other. Melshi is training. He's kind of a leader. We know he ends up dying on Scarif with lots of the others.
Wait, what?
Spoilers!
Oh my god.
Pow. Shout out to the alien Pow with the big mouth. My favorite is when he is in Rogue One. He goes, Carabast! Which is Zeb's, cuss word. And when they see the AT-ACT on Scarif. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Just cool to see him, characters that are so minor in the movie show up in the show.
Yeah.
We see a little bit of Saw Gerrera, not in the montage, but in that ending there, arguing and being militant with the Alliance about being on Jedha. They're like, we know you're on Jedha.
Yeah.
He's like, he doesn't trust anybody.
Yeah.
Why would the rebellion be spying on me? We're supposed to be on the same side.
Yeah.
But Saw is an extremist. He is.
I hate Saw.
I hate to break it to you, but... Yeah.
Saw.
And again, just seeing the rebellion had all this information if they would have just trusted Kleya. That Jedha is connected to Scarif, is connected to the prisons, is connected to the Death Star.
Jedha, Scarif.
Kyber something.
Kyber,
Gorman, Calkite.
And Urso. Galen
Urso. Edu.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was great. I love how they dispatch Cassian to the Ring of Kafrene right at the end, which is where we see him in the beginning of Rogue One. I loved how seamless that was. Go ahead.
I was going to say, so Diego Luna was on Brittany Broski's YouTube channel, Royal Court, and he literally said, if once you finish Andor, the last episode of Andor, watch Rogue One right away.
Yeah.
Because he said you'll have a better appreciation for the movie. You'll pick up on things in a different way. And he really emphasized that. And also check out that episode of Royal Court.
I have to watch that.
It was very funny.
It's Brittany Broski, of course it's funny. Yeah.
And they speak Spanish to each other. It's great. Anyway, so we started Rogue One at ICCC, but I really want to I honestly want to rewatch those maybe the last episode of Andor and then watch Rogue One to kind of because there's so much information, especially the last two, where Cassian's going over all the things that Clea told him. Yeah. And I mean, I caught some of it, but I want to rewatch it and then watch Rogue One right after, and see if I can pick up on everything.
My this quote stuck in my head because I said Calkite, and I keep thinking people keep memeing the scene where from the first couple episodes where Krennic is like, Calkite, synthetic Calkite alternatives. It's like just so satisfying the way he says it. It's stuck in my head. The last scene of Andor. I'm crushed.
Oh, yeah.
We're back on, I forget the name of the planet, but we're back on the first planet in season 2.
The farming wheat planet.
Bix went back there. We see B2, Emo, playing tag with another droid. So silly. Glad to see he's okay. And Bix is carrying a baby.
Oh my god.
A baby. And she's
always gotta throw a baby in there. And
she's looking so hopefully into the distance.
Make me more sad.
Yeah. I kept seeing people being like, I hope that's Poe Dameron. I hope the baby is Poe Dameron. If it is, fine, but I don't think it needs to be.
No, I think it's showing. This is exactly what Andor's about. That is the sunrise that Cassian is fighting for.
That he will never see.
That he will never see.
Oh, you blew my mind. That's exactly what it is.
That's what it is. They're showing this is the next generation that all these people are fighting for. And that none of these people will know.
Yeah.
Because everyone's going to die.
Everyone's going to die.
That was what the point was. It wasn't to connect it to something else. It was to show that Bix and Cassian's son or daughter is the sunrise that Cassian is fighting for.
That he will never see.
Beautiful.
And the show ends. And it was great. And I love it.
Did you catch that? We see Bix walking. I said she's holding a baby. Just by her gait, a woman knows, I was like, that I was going to say the B word, but that girl got a baby on her hip right there.
A woman knows.
She was holding it like
yeah.
You couldn't really see the baby, but I knew.
Yeah, insane. But
yeah, I think it was a beautiful way to end it.
It was.
And
especially knowing what happens in Rogue One.
It's
heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking. My soul's crushed.
Yeah.
So sad.
So sad.
Sad. But I think it was the perfect way to end it. It's exactly the main point of this show.
Andor is special. And do you have any closing thoughts on the series, on the season, on...
Give it another try and look at it with emotional intelligence. And intelligence, period.
my one thing I will say...
What? Don't critique it now.
No. With future Star Wars...
Yeah.
I think we need to remember what we said at the beginning of this conversation. Andor is a different caliber of Star Wars. It is meant for a different audience than the rest of Star Wars. So when we go into Ahsoka Season 2, Mando and Grogu, all these other Star Wars projects going forward that are probably going to be a lot more family-friendly, a lot more silly, a lot more in tune with the rest of the franchise, I already know forever and all time everything's going to get compared to Andor. And that's just... As an adult fan, it's not comparable.
Yeah.
So let's just keep that in mind. That being said, Andor is absolutely one of my all-time favorites from Star Wars. My dad, Commander Bly, described it as what kids that grew up with the original trilogy hoped the prequel trilogy would be.
Dang. That
serious, dark tone, emotional intelligence grew with the audience type thing.
Definitely not.
Yeah,
Andor... the prequels were. Dang, that's disappointing.
Cha-cha! Taking a boomer! Misa don't have a boomer! Yeah, taking this one!
Like, that would be so disappointing.
Misa got Jar Jar Binks!
That's actually wild. With that context, that's wild. I feel so bad.
Misa, now your humble servant!
I'd probably go crazy if I was thinking if that's what I was envisioning.
Excuse me.
And then you hit up Phantom Menace at the theaters, 1999, and that's what you're saying.
I happen to have a chance, Gilby.
No judgment to Sabola and Watto, who we met at ICC.
What do you think of some kind of Jedi waving your hand around like that? Jedi mind tricks don't work on me. Only money.
You didn't do that for him, did you?
I know I didn't at all. I was afraid. I got stage fright.
Disappointing.
Now, if they got Zero the Hutt's voice actor at ICC Con.
Michael Havens, if you're watching, we want Zero.
I'm so excited to meet you. I've been waiting forever.
Does Zero have a action figure that you could buy?
They've never made an action figure of Zero the Hutt.
Hasbro, if you're listening.
Hasbro, please save us, Hasbro. Hasbro, please save us. Please save us, Hasbro. Please save us. John Hasbro, please save us, John Hasbro.
John. Michael Hasbro. Michael John Hasbro. Please save us.
John Paul Hasbro. John Paul Hasbro. Please save us.
Give us a Zero the Hutt action figure now.
John Paul Hasbro. Please save us. Please save us, John Paul Hasbro. All right. I feel like this is a problem in multiple episodes now are devolving into the right at the end.
But it's
just Tommy screaming and shouting Star Wars.
But usually it's like 11 o'clock at night. It's 8:30.
This is true. So, all right, I have a live stream I need to do in less than 2 hours now. So, guys, thanks again for watching. We hope you enjoyed our coverage of Andor. I know we enjoyed talking about it.
Love Andor.
We're going to be going back to weekly, just general Star Wars topics, whatever we feel like talking about that week.
We need to... I'm going to put this out there, and then now we have to do it. I would like us, in the next couple weeks, do our list comparisons, because...
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I've watched everything that's been released now, so I tasked Tommy to make his own list, because if you're on the Discord, you see mine.
I have a list.
You've seen mine on the Discord. Sign up for the Discord. I'm not even on it, but... I want Tommy to write down his list, and we're going to go through and compare ours. Mm-hmm. One by one, all movies, all TV shows. Animated, live action. Mm-hmm. Both.
And then you guys can vote on which list is better.
And it's going to be me.
It's gonna be me. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the Blitzcast. As always, make sure to check out all the links in the description below. And why did I... Oh, that's so strange. I just got a notification that you sent me a reel on Instagram, but it says it's from 1 hour ago. But the notification came through now.
Let's watch it live.
No. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you for the next one. And may the Force be with you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Breaking off. All units, fire at will. 1-2, pick a target. Too many, Captain. Watch your stabilizer, Gold 6. Anybody cover me. I got 2 vultures on my tail. Gotta hold them here. Watch your left. I can't shake them. I'm hit. Where's our reinforcement?